Hello everybody. First off, I want to thank you guys for tuning into this video. My name is Zay Turnage. I am an apparel designer, self-taught at that. But today I want to tell you guys about my journey to getting hired as a designer at one of the biggest sportswear companies in the world, New Balance. I'm just gonna get straight right into the video. I don't want to be one of those videos that, goes all over the place. But, obviously if you're watching this video, you are either an organic follow or a viewer from YouTube, or you are somebody that already is aware of me on social media and you're trying to learn more about my journey to New Balance. Let's get right into it, guys. I started designing apparel in 2018, right after I dropped out of college, which was at Washtenaw Community College. I previously was at Eastern Michigan University the year before, had some things happen, did community. Long story short, I got my first apartment. I had a ton of bills. I was living at my aunt and uncle's house and I had to get my place. I had to move on my life. It was a lot of life happening to me. I was getting my first apartment. I was at my second college and, a lot of bills were hitting me. I had to drop out, and just start working full time. This is in 2017, fall of 2017. So top of 2018, I announced on Instagram, pretty much, hey, I'm about to drop my own clothing line, which we'll talk about that terminology later in another video. Clothing line, really, I was trying to say I'm starting a clothing brand. And, I got a lot of good feedback, reaction. And, pretty much I'd like to think that in my journey, I've had enough encouragement and people cheering me on and just seeing the fruit of my labor to move forward, with continuing to pursue my dreams. Like I said, I did not go to college for apparel design or industrial design, or let alone I've never been able to draw. You know what I mean? How am I designing at one of the biggest sportswear companies in the world when I didn't even know how to draw at the time, up until recently. So let's get right into it. Pretty much, like I said, my apparel design journey starts with my clothing brand, The Chosen Few Threads, also better known as TCF, where I'm from. And just to keep it short and sweet, the company's been active for 5 years now. At this point, I've had a lot of success. Just to highlight some things, 2018 was a year of just laying a lot of foundation, learning about business, learning about, really I was going through a phase of trying to source my product and how to get it to my customers in time. But yeah, 2018, I was laying a lot of foundation. 2019, I kept releasing product. I was finding products on Alibaba as far as sourcing products and then getting them here, giving them to my embroiderer or screen printer, then, styling them, and then they were ready to go. I was also using Big Cartel at the time. Later down the line in 2019, I joined this basketball league in my hometown, and I just helped operate it. I also implemented the clothing brand there. I was doing pop-up shops damn near every weekend. We were having games. And, at this time, I was catching more fire in my neighborhood and in my, I shouldn't say my neighborhood, really my community, my hometown. I'm living in Ypsilanti and Ann Arbor at the time, but I'm really from Monroe, Michigan. So I was driving pretty much every week back to Monroe to help operate the basketball league. And, I was pushing sales for the brand. Later in 2019, I rebranded the company with a real design and consulting agency. And that's when I got my logos. I learned about brand identity. I learned about content development. I just learned about how to operate and how to really, start up a brand and how to display it for an audience. So like I said, I got my logos. I pretty much paid a 3-month retainer with the design agency, and watched and learned from, my mentors, John and Danielle, and pretty much had my own little office area, but I was around them and I saw what it looked like running your own business. I was grateful to be in their studio. I had a Mac computer to operate from. They treated me like their own, and that really took my career to the next level. So again, 2019 was just a year of pursuing, getting better and rebranding the company. When I rebranded the company and got my official logos, I would like to think that it was a sign to my audience of, okay, this guy's not playing around, he's growing. Okay, let's fast forward a little bit further. We go into 2020. 2020 is when everything changed because the pandemic had hit. 2020 changed my life. I graced the front cover of my hometown newspaper. I also made the Toledo Blade. So pretty much I was making headlines and articles in my hometown in Toledo, Ohio. And on top of that, I had ran into cut and sew manufacturing, which essentially is creating product from scratch. I wasn't buying Gildan Haynes, Bella Canvas, Next Level, American Apparel, Lane 7, any of those already pre-printed blanks and then printing on top of it. No, I was using cut and sew private labeling manufacturing, which is creating product from scratch. You can customize pretty much everything from color to fabric and material to your hang tag, and most importantly, your private label, your branded tag in your clothing. That's where a lot of clothing brands go wrong, or a lot of people go wrong trying to create a clothing brand or clothing line, is they don't even brand it properly. So I always know where somebody's at in their journey if they haven't started to private label yet. If you don't private label, it just takes your clothing brand to the next level. Okay, so let's keep going. 2021, I made not the front cover, but I had just got an article in Detroit Free Press, the biggest and probably the most credible newspaper in Michigan. And so what I'm trying to tell you guys is, like, this is my journey with my clothing brand. It was nothing but persistence and resilience. And essentially I was doing everything off of my iPad, off of Procreate. Procreate is how I would create, my concepts. And, thank you to one of my, somebody I used to work with in the past. Without her, I would have never even got into Procreate and spent that $10. So what I'm trying to explain to you guys is that getting to this point of designing at New Balance, I started from absolutely nothing. And as I'm telling you this stuff through these stories, I continuously made strides in my career as with my brand, and really just as an apparel designer. It kind of looked like I was designing, you would think, but that's what cut and sew manufacturing did for me. Like, I was able to, what I did at the time is I took already made up silhouettes on the internet, and then I would put them in Procreate and I would color them. I would add certain functions or details. I would add the artwork to it and then send it to my manufacturers. And then when they ship the product to me, it was a ready to go product. That was my process as an apparel designer. Procreate, using templates and silhouettes already online, and then adding functions to them, adding different artwork to them and different unique styles that I thought was cool. That was apparel designing at the time for me until recently. And then I follow up the story. 2021, essentially, I made Detroit Free Press. I got my clothing into the Detroit market. I got my clothing into the Detroit market. I had my clothes at 12 Oaks Mall, and also I had my clothes on Woodward Avenue in downtown Detroit. So at this moment, I have my clothes at my boutique in my hometown. I forgot to say, in 2020, I opened my own boutique in my hometown. I was the only Black-owned business downtown at the time. So I'm selling out of my boutique. I'm selling out of Franklin Park Mall in Toledo. I also entered that market the end of end of summer 2020. So we're in 2021 right now. I have my clothes in Toledo, Ohio, at my boutique in Monroe. I also have them in Detroit, in Royal Oak. And pretty much I overwhelmed myself with contracts and expenses, you could just say. Going through 2021, I closed my boutique at the end of in fall 2021. And, at that time, I pretty much pulled all my clothing from all my different stores just because I was just breaking down margins, losing some money, and I really couldn't keep up. So I had to regather myself, which is why going into 2022 was such a huge year for me, because I had to go back to work full time, and I was still releasing clothes and products on my website. But it was really just a step back for me, because I had been self-employed from 2020 to 2022. And, I had struck and facilitated a lot of dope collaborations and opportunities, but, I just had to take a step back when I closed my suite. You know, when I closed my suite, like I said, I was overwhelmed with business expenses. Like I ran out of money essentially. You know what I mean? And it was just a really big like growth point for me, because up until that point, I have been having my way. I'm making money that I never made before. Like I got my clothes all over Southeast Michigan, and I was just killing it. Like everything I set my aim and sights on, my targets on, like I was knocking it out the park. And so, you know, 2022 last year was huge for me, because I'll just fast forward to where it gets good. Like essentially I, you know, got accepted into Pencil Lewis College of Business and Design. And what that is a HBCU in Detroit, a design school first. You know, it's like Pencil is started as a footwear academy on the West Coast. But, you know, I didn't know anything about Pencil at the time until one of my brothers has, you know, hit me in the summer 2022. He's like, yo, bro, I just finished this program. Like, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. Like, this is for you. This is what you need to do. You need to be at Pencil. So I applied for their the next upcoming class that they had, or master class as they call it. And it was a master class with New Balance. And so let me tell you where I was at this time. Like I pretty much, I had released projects all throughout 2022, but again, I was facing that point at the end of the summer where I was like I just need more. I need something different. You know, I had been working at dispensaries. That was pretty much the work I did for the past few years. And even that was starting to become a little redundant. And so, you know, again, when Pencil opened up their next masterclass, you know, I was like, let's get after it. Again, this is a design school that just got reopened in conjunction with the HBCU, I believe in 2021. So again, I don't know anything about this school, but it is a very prestigious design school, and a lot of top designers in the industry have come out of Pencil. And so they opened up their master class with New Balance, and you know, I got in there and I applied. And you know, this is really important because I didn't even submit my submission on time right away. They had extended their submission period, I think an extra week. And then I was like, okay, this is my time to shine. I was hanging around a few friends. One of my friends was like, I'm not really in student mode right now. I'm not trying to be in school. And you know, another one of our friends at the time was sitting around, was like, bro, you might as well try, like go after it. I'm like, shit, like I'm in Detroit at the time. I just kind of moved to the Detroit area, and I'm like, I might as well get after this and give it a shot. Like it's New Balance. Like my brother told me about this. Like I might as well try while it's in front of me. You know how sometimes we have opportunities in front of us and we're like, might as well try if it's in front of me. Like some stuff is really meant for you to experience. And you know, I really feel like it isn't brought into your cusp of your reality, you know, unless, you know, it's really there for you. And so again, like the submission period was extended a week. I submitted my design, which my design is on my YouTube, so it's the video right before this, and that was my submission for Pencil. I got rejected the first time, and then 2 weeks before the program started, a week before the program started, I got accepted in. So I got rejected at first, which was pretty discouraging. I remember texting my friend like, damn, I got rejected. And she was just, you know, like, yo, it's all right, bro, like keep going. And you know, I don't know, like at that point I was just in a state of like, man, I gotta make something happen. Like I was thinking about moving back home to Monroe because I'm in Detroit at the time. And then I got accepted in. So through the school process, pretty much, I went through it was a 5-week masterclass with New Balance. Week 1, I went through ideation with my teammates. Week 2 was sketching. Like I said, y'all, I've never been able to draw in my life. So having to hand sketch apparel when I'm used to taking already made up silhouettes from the internet and then adding function and adding line work, adding this and that, adding all the necessary components that you need to construct an apparel piece or a garment of any kind. That week 2 process was hard. I would think I did something or I had something going. I bring it into my instructor. He take my design. Oh, you're missing trim. You're missing this. You're missing that. What is this line over here? What is that? I don't even know what this means. Go back to the drawing board. Like, bring this back when you're ready. I'm not gonna. You know what I'm saying? This is something my instructor Sam Ryan was telling us. Like, it's the difference between listening to me and hearing me. You know, and I just always remember that when he was saying that. Like, he was very made sure that he got the best out of us. And so essentially, week 1, ideation, week 2, sketching, week 3, final concepts and line work, week 4, final rendering, and then week 5, final presentation week. And so pretty much what I'm telling you guys is I dropped out of college. I decided to start my own brand. I got an iPad and an Apple Pencil. I used Procreate. I used templates and silhouettes. I used cut and sew and private labeling manufacturing. And that's what led me to Pencil. The big thing is you always want to continue to grow and improve your craft. You're never too good, you know what I mean, to not improve or you know what I mean, go after something better to improve your business or your brand. You constantly want to be going after better quality, better designing, better presentation. Like, I'm somebody that is obsessed with getting better, essentially. Like, if I can offer my customers better, if I can showcase on my social media, I'm getting better. Like, that's what's gonna attract people to you, because they see that you're growing and you're serious about your craft. So, essentially, this is what led me to Pencil. And Pencil was that platform that I needed. Because up to this point, at getting the Pencil, I'm somewhat of an accomplished person. Like, my brand has been covered by newspapers. I've made money I never thought I would make. And I have an audience online. Like, I have a name in my hometown and in Southeast Michigan. But Pencil changed my life because it really taught me how to make a product from scratch. Like I said, that ideation and sketching is so important, because now that's how I'm going about all of my releases in the future. And so, long story short, I went through Pencil and I just had a moment where I was like you have those moments in your life to where you kind of face or hit a wall, and you're like, you either can do what's comfortable and easy, which maybe give up, or kind of just fall back a little bit, or whatever it may be, whatever that bad habit you falling back into may be. But I just had a moment where I was like, you know what, I'm here for a reason. I took this 5 weeks away from work for a reason, and if I really am serious about this opportunity, if I want something to come out of it, I need to show my instructors and the faculty at Pencil that I want this and I'm growing. I started to talk to people more. I started to ask more questions. I started to just acclimate myself, around people differently, and pretty much made the most out of this opportunity. I had more conversations with my apparel instructor, and I just kept working hard. You know what I mean? It was 10-hour days. We were at school, 10 hours, and you still got to go back to your hotel and prepare work for the next day. For the next class, not even the next day, the next morning. And so, again, Pencil truly changed my life because I showed progress. I showed, I just showed that I was serious about it. It's people, my classmates, bro, all of these people can illustrate fashion. Like, they can draw a croquis figure. They can draw easily. Pretty much, I'm coming in as somebody that just can't draw, but I know what to do when I get busy digitally, when I'm making a product. But this is why growth is so important. You have to test yourself, and you have to put yourself through certain things to show yourself what you're made of, and just to continue to grow. Because, toward the end, I just felt like, man, if I didn't push myself week 2 and week 3, I wouldn't be here right now. So essentially, that is my journey to New Balance. But Pencil, without Pencil, I don't get a chance to design at one of the biggest sportswear companies in the world. So, I went through the whole process. New Balance, they were on site of school week 2. I think they were in person, and then the final week for final presentation, they came back in person. They looked at my mood board and my presentation board. somebody very high up in the company that pretty much oversees like the pretty much the partnership between Pencil and New Balance. You know, he came over to my border and said he could see it being commercialized, which is cropped quarter zip, and I did a double layer skirt, which I'm excited to show you guys whenever I'm able to. But besides that, that is my journey to New Balance. That, like, I started off self-taught as a designer. You know, I did my thing with my clothing brand, you know, made waves throughout Michigan, you know, and then my brother Cedric, without him, I really feel like, I don't know if I would have like pursued Pencil, and especially going back to school at that. One of the main points of this video is education is so important, you know what I mean? But more than that, you have to seek out opportunities that, you know, are meant for you, can help you grow. You know, going through Pencil, I just gave it my all. And then toward the end, a lot of people, because my color and materials designer who color blocked my project, she really took my piece to the next level. But I just can't stress enough, without Pencil Lewis College of Business and Design, I would not be sitting here in this position. We got to final presentation week, and then I had a feeling that, you know, I was somebody that was highly regarded, or, you know, just somebody that all my classmates and the faculty were impressed with the progression of. It took about a month after school to interview with New Balance, and pretty much they just asked about my experience through school. And they asked to see my portfolio, my past work, my journey to this point. And, you know, that is what led me to, you know, pretty much getting hired at one of the biggest sportswear companies in the world, New Balance. I just wanted to make this video to give people insight on how I got here, and even on the internet for self-taught designers. If you have dreams at working at a big brand or a big company, up until this point, I've preached entrepreneurship. I've preached, you know, like going out there and getting it for your own. Why would I go to waste my time and go to school, try to get a salary or try to get a job when I can get out here and get this money for myself? But the truth of the matter is, you know, over the past year or so, I just faced a wall where I'm like, what I'm doing is good. It's good for now, but for the dreams that I have and want to accomplish, I need more money. I need more capital. I need more resources. And to me, where I'm going makes sense, because I'm a designer at New Balance. I'm making more money than I've made in my life now to do something I love, which is design apparel. And essentially, you know, when you're working with more money and more resources, you can do more. So to me, you know, even though in my head I'm saying like, I don't like want a job essentially, or I don't want a boss essentially, or, you know, I don't want a 9-to-5. Like, you know, I definitely, you know, pretty much like a career and something I love to do was never out of the question. And so that's why it's important. And I'm just grateful that I went back to school, went to design school, and did that 5-week masterclass. And, you know, I went from an iPad to a MacBook Pro. You know, thank you, New Balance. This is what I'm designing on now. And, you know, this is how I got to where I am now. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed, like, you know, my storytelling a little bit. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to me. I hope you guys, you know, learned something, or you got some insight into my journey. I will be making more videos in the future on my journey with New Balance, and, you know, just being a professional designer to this point, and tools I'm using, experiences I'm having, and different things like that. But I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Subscribe. I have a lot of content coming on branding, design, entrepreneurship, and even clothing manufacturing, and just, you know, being a professional designer, but also, you know, I have a brand as well, and I'm an entrepreneur and creator as well. So how I'm navigating through that, and, you know, things that I'm learning that can help, you know, you guys as well. So thank you for tuning in. Zay Turnage, New Balance.